hold you back. Don't let him tell you what to do. Don't become his wife. Live your own life. Don't let this stop you from doing what you need to do. I mean, that was very kind in a sense. Like, she was clearly trying, but holy shit, man. Also, I'll let you gather all the crops at this point, just so we can keep you getting all the farming experience.
Okay. Has
Just
it
make sure
been
to save
enough
the gold
time
ones.
for us to go get our tools back yet?
I think we dropped off the 16th, so yeah, it's probably worth checking.
Oh, one gold one so far.
Nice.
So we needed 5. We got
Just
4.
need two gold ones total.
Got it.
Perfect.
Dang, I got I got 4 of them.
All right, awesome.
What are the chances?
So yeah, drop them off in there. I'll take the extra ones and sell them, but I'll take the.
You can just put them in this chest. The extra ones,
Yeah, I'll put the 2 extra in there myself, then sell the other 5.
plus the 45 that we just gathered.
Yeah, that should be a very nice windfall.
Do we have any seeds?
We might. I don't know, actually.
Spring seeds. That's all that's in here. Can't do much with spring
Yeah, actually,
seeds.
yeah. Let's plant the spring seeds. I mean, we don't have any other use for them.
Well, I mean, it's still spring, I guess, though, isn't it?
Yep, for a little while longer.
Oh my god, it's so much easier to just hold down the plant button. Why haven't I been doing this? I'm a fool.
You fool! You foolish fool!
You've done us all.
What's the worst that can happen? The spa still isn't open. It's annoying.
It's my favorite little thing I once read. It was like, the last words ever spoken by a human will be those of a scientist, simply saying, oh, that's not supposed to happen. Or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
I think
what
I've
it
heard that
was.
someplace. Yeah, somebody like there was a thing from the Manhattan Project when they were first, making a nuclear weapon, where there was actually uncertainty and a somewhat unofficial bet going about whether setting off a nuclear explosion would literally ignite the entire atmosphere.
Really?
Yeah, apparently it was considered a very small chance, but there was actually some concern among the scientists, like, if we do this, it might just literally cause every molecule of oxygen in our atmosphere to basically burn.
I didn't know that.
Yep, kind of horrifying to think they still went through with it.
Well, gotta kill
Of course,
those
then again,
Japs.
there was also the whole thing with the what was it? The Large Hadron Collider, where there was this Jojo Cola guy, or Jaja Cola, whatever. There was apparently concern among some of the scientists on the Hadron Collider thing at first that it was possible they'd be creating a black hole.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, and I mean, realistically, in that case, they proved pretty quickly that, no, there's no chance that's going to happen. But, it doesn't play well in court of public opinion to be told, oh no, we checked. We're 98% sure.
Oh, you look so sad.
Oh, the Jaja Cola guy?
He made Pierre look so sad.
Well, just remember, though, as amazing and handsome a person as Pierre clearly is, he does close on Wednesdays. So there's a small part of me that keeps telling him to go fuck himself.
See how it is, Pierre. You work on the day of the Lord, but you'll take off Wednesday.
I suppose he does work Sundays. That helps a little bit. Here, I'll stop by, actually, I should go and stop by the blacksmith first.
See if he's got the tools.
Yep. He has mine, so yours should be ready too. Copper pickaxe.
I still haven't gotten that better sword that you said that was down in the mines.
Yeah, just go to level 20 at some point. I'm gonna bust a bunch of geodes as well, by the way.
Did you take all the extra ones we had?
Yep. I have like 25 geodes to break. This should give us a ton of new stuff for the museum.
Dang it, I didn't buy enough seeds.
Bury me in seed.
These things will grow through summer, won't they? These parsnips? All this stuff should.
Only if it says it will in the seed package.
Oh. So they might all also just die immediately.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. That's why I said use all the spring seeds now, as, you know, doesn't matter as much.
How much does he charge to break one of those open?
25 each.
25 each to swing a hammer.
It's a big hammer.
That's robbery.
Oh, I don't have room in my inventory for the rest. Fuck. Alright, I got to go donate a bunch. I keep forgetting I don't have the third line in my backpack yet.
I'll come down here and get my sword, I guess.
All right.
Or my axe, I should say.
My axe. This should be a lot of stuff. You should be getting a lot of notices about now.
Mm-hmm. They're popping up.
Alright, I just donated a shit ton.
Do we get anything from that?
You eventually get rewards, like I just got starfruit seed, 9 melon seeds, 9 cauliflower seeds, and a standing geode piece of furniture.
Ooh, nice.
Yep, so my house will look all geographic. Oh, and also, our next tool upgrade is going to be 5,000 gold and 5 iron, which is actually not bad.
We don't have but only 6,000 gold.
True, but we'll have a lot more soon. We also may want to consider getting a farm building at some point soon, either a stable, like a barn for cows, or a coop for chickens. Which do you feel more affection towards?
Chickens.
The barn is...
We'll get chickens, because you said something about eggs being good.
Yep, eggs or milk. I mean, honestly, they either one works roughly the same. The barn is a little more expensive at first, but also will provide more money. The chicken coop is a little less expensive and provides a little less money, but still pretty good. I got a painting to hang on my wall. Are you fishing, or am I hearing something else?
I'm fishing.
Okay.
Sometimes it just won't let me cast out. I don't know why. It acts like it's hitting like an invisible wall or something.
Hmm. Ooh. Found an
Okay.
oyster. Well, funny enough, you're actually seeing the game after probably about 2 years of patches.
Really?
Yeah, this game came out quite a while ago. And there are still flaws in it, but the guy has actually done a fairly impressive job. I mean, like, there wasn't even multiplayer when the game launched. He actually added that as a post-release option about 2 years after release.
I had somebody message me earlier asking me if I wanted to do co-op with them, and I was just like, already doing a co-op. I don't think I want to have multiple co-op Let's Plays.
I'm playing with a superior friend at the moment. Well, you can always invite them along to this one if you want at some point. You just need to make a second, like, house for them, which is actually really cheap, like 100 gold.
I thought it was just 2.
Nope, you can have up to 4 players in a co-op match.
Oh.
You want to be a little careful about who you invite, just because, I mean, obviously, you know, company and all that, but also it can be kind of a problem if, like, you can only invite a certain number of people total. But, yeah. If I'm not enough for you, it's always an option.
Noted. Hello, Clint.
I will
Welcome
just
to
be
the tavern to drink
deeply
away your
offended.
problems again.
Oh, don't comment on their, you know, poor options. They're probably just sad they're an NPC. Oh, fuck, I am so hungry today.
Like right now, real life hungry, or like,
Yeah, like in general, real life.
oh,
There are just some days I just seem to need like one meal more than usual at all times.
well, not to brag, but I had a Caesar salad from Zaxby's earlier.
I
Chicken,
do love Caesar
chicken
salads.
Caesar salad,
Even better.
and it had their Caesar sauce. It's kind of like a ranch, only with like a kick flavor to it,
Oh yeah, I'm deeply familiar with Caesar dressing and all that.
and it was amazing.
Where was this from? Is it Zaxby's, you said?
Yeah, you probably don't have Zaxby's, do you, up there? Or
I'm not sure. The name sounds familiar, though.
it's
For some
basically
reason...
like Chick-fil-A. It's almost the exact same thing as Chick-fil-A, except better, because they have a Zaxby sauce where you can get like for your chicken, and it's basically it's the most amazing dipping sauce you could ever dip any piece of chicken in ever.
That is a bold claim.
It's amazing.
I'd be interested.
It is amazing. They never give you enough because you always want to just like dip your chicken in it like a million times. And that's not a euphemism.
That sounds good. I do kind of wish my job had me up and moving more, as it is hard to get enough calorie burn during the day when I'm basically I have to just sit in a single place to do my job.
Are you putting on the pounds?
No, I'm still losing, thankfully, but not as fast as I would like at the moment.
I'm gaining
And actually,
weight.
since I basically plateaued for about a week or two, thanks to my parents being here, since I just ate whatever the hell I wanted at that point.
I'm getting fatter. 155 pounds of blubbery goodness.
You still weigh significantly less than me.
I think my metabolism actually is slowing down, though. Like,
That usually will with age.
hello, kitty. Did I pet you today? I did not, which means I didn't water you either.
I must admit, I was looking at a BMI chart thing recently, and I still think the BMI chart... I mean, I know technically there's a lot of scientific support saying it's inaccurate, but it is weird to think, like... I think the lightest I've been at my current height has been, like, about 170, 168. That's about the lightest I've ever been.
Right.
And at that point, I think I look somewhat emaciated.
You're starving. Eat something.
Well, I mean, I got a fairly broad frame, I guess. Or as the family always used to call it, an Irish dockworker genes. I mean, right now, I think I'm basically hovering just a little over 200.
That's not bad.
And I would like to get... Nah, it's not bad. I mean, it looks okay on my frame, but I would like lower. If only just because I feel like, you know, being around 180 is about... That's solid, I think.
Make it
Okay, I need
easier
to
on those
run.
firefighters to carry you out of the house when it catches on fire. Man, this guy's huge.
I can at least safely say I have never been to the size where I'd start to worry about that. Get the crane! No thanks, I'd rather die if you're gonna do that. That just sounds
The house is on
sounds
fire.
insulting.
He would have died, but his fat rolls insulated him from the fire.
I'm in bed. It's 1 a.m. Where are you?
Oh, I'm in bed too, but I wasn't asleep. I was just laying there because
Oh.
you weren't in bed. Level 3 farming! Woohoo! I can make a bee house now and speed grow.
Ooh, nice.
Whatever that is.
Bees are helpful. Actually, bees are pretty much awesome.
Can we harvest
Since,
the honey?
Yep, you get free honey. It takes a while for honey to develop, but once you build the beehive, it requires no further input, so it's just money.
Ooh.
It takes a while to build... Well, it takes a while to kind of get money out of it, but, you know, it's still an excellent deal. Ooh. We have a cauliflower to drop off.
Cauliflower. Beehive. A mayonnaise machine? That just sounds disgusting.
Oh, mayonnaise machine is great, though, as it lets you convert eggs into mayonnaise.
We don't have any iron bars, do we?
We have 3 of them.
Ooh, I could make a beehive.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, at some point we should hopefully get more iron bars, too. Now that I've got a better pickaxe, I can start going to get some.
Wood, coal,
also
maple syrup. Oh, shit. How do you make maple syrup? Yeah. Maple syrup. To buy it?
You actually have to make a tree tap.
Oh. Tree tap.
Yeah, it's a foraging skill. I can't make them yet.
Can't buy maple syrup either, I guess.
Nope, don't think so. Actually, I can make a recycling machine at this point. We may want to make one of those with an iron bar, but I think right now, given what we got, I'm going to make another round today to get salmon berries, unless they're not around, and I'm probably going to head down to the mine to get more iron.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't exactly make a bee house, so wait on that.
Alright, what do you need for the bee house?
Maple syrup.
Okay, so we need foraging skill to do that. Hopefully we'll be getting that foraging up there at some point in the near future. And I don't see any salmon berries out today, so their season may have passed. We've also got like 100-something salmon berries, so we're probably okay.
You gonna sell those, or just...
I was gonna hold on to them. There's, once we get the ability to make jam, we can, which we should have very soon, we should be able to start transforming those into a much more valuable product.
Salmonberry jam, I guess?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've never had a salmon berry in my life.
I didn't even know they were real. I thought that was a made-up thing for this game.
That's a reasonable assumption. It might be, I guess. Oh, shit. Those are living rocks. I got a cave crab. I caught crabs in my cave.
Oh, man, I would love some crab meat right now. Love crab meat. So good.
You should definitely go to Maine at some point.
I never actually used the butter. I always just... I love the crab meat just normal, by itself.
Just shove that crab right in your face.
After you break its legs open.
And after you do a Mortal Kombat finishing move in the crab, just shove it in your mouth.
Sounds pretty savage, doesn't it, when you describe it? Well, you break their legs open, then you peel the meat out from inside with your fingers.
I must have... Well, I don't know. I'm not a huge seafood fan myself, as I probably told you, but my favorite jokes was always, you know, imagine how desperate the first guy to eat a lobster was, and I bet he cooked the second one.
It's kind of crazy how we cook lobsters. It's kind of horrific when you think about it.
Well, I mean, there's a whole argument to be made about whether or not fish actually feel pain, which I honestly don't know. I think it's probably best to be on the safe side, that maybe we don't, you know, boil them alive if we can't tell. But yeah, I mean, I think the prevailing idea is that, you know, they don't feel any pain, so it's not really considered cruel to cook them alive. That does sound more and more like, you know, we didn't feel like finding out, so we just figured, why not? Let's boil them.
They can't feel pain. They're lobsters.
Well, I mean, the fact that humans feel pain is only really evident because, you know, we basically talk about it so much.
True.
I mean, animals can clearly feel pain, but I mean, pain as on its own is not really like a thing that all creatures seem to have, as far as we can tell. I mean, pain is not a necessary part of survival. It's just there to let you know, like, hey, there's a problem with this and you should probably stop.
Right.
I mean, actually, so leprosy, from what I understand, leprosy does not actually cause much damage to the skin. It doesn't cause people to, you know, start to rot or any of that stuff. The main effect of leprosy is that it kills off the sensory organs in the skin so that you can't feel what's happening to you. And that the sort of widely discussed sort of rotting effect people get in their skin is not actually the skin rotting or taking any damage from the disease. It's the fact that the person can't feel the damage that's happening, so that they basically don't stop or take precautions if they just keep damaging themselves in small amounts.
I didn't know that.
Other fun fact: can you guess what animal in the United States is the only natural carrier of leprosy in the United States? Isn't the only animal that naturally has it and doesn't suffer from it? There's only one.
Oh god, I don't know. It could be anything.
It could. You're very true. I mean, honestly, this is a very unfair question I'm asking. It's mostly just I find it kind of funny.
A honey badger.
That would actually be kind of funnier, but the answer is the aardvark. The only known natural vector for it, I guess.
Arthur was an aardvark. Excuse me.
Hmm?
Arthur was an aardvark. That's the only
He
aardvark.
was.
It's the only reason I know what an aardvark even kind of looks like, or not. I mean, they
Wait,
were
actually-
anthropomorphic, so I guess it doesn't really work. But
I don't know. I mean, I think you can learn a little from that. Like, I learned a lot about echidnas from Sonic Art.
what was Knuckles?
He was an echidna.
Okay,
Looks
whatever
nothing like
he
it.
was, I was totally reading it or pronouncing it wrong in my mind then.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what I was looking at or reading. I thought it was like in Childa or something like that.
No, it does look like that. I mean, it's entirely reasonable to try to pronounce it that way. I only know it was echidna because I actually looked it up at one point when I was curious.
Did you ever see that meme about? It's like a Rule 34 post about this guy talking about that one girl from Arthur. Like,
No, I
who
don't
had,
think
like,
so.
She had like the big ass, and he was looking for like the episode of it or something. The whole premise was just like, but the ass was fat or something like that, and they took it, and it turned into like the most hilarious meme ever. I'll have to send that to you sometime.
If you can find it, go for it. Arthur is weird. It's like I literally watched that show when I was a kid, just because whenever, for some reason, I had a long time where I used to go to my aunt's house after school every day, and her kids were always there, like watching cartoons, and for some reason, Arthur was one of the ones that came up. So I think I've actually seen a fair amount of that. That and the Magic School Bus.
Oh god. Yeah, that was how not to be a teacher. Incredibly irresponsible.
Yeah, she did not sign like one permission slip. I mean, one of those kids was gonna get like polio or something, and she was gonna be in trouble.
There was one episode that I'll never forget where they went to the moon. Oh fuck you! I'm not installing that. GeForce
What?
just popped up with an update for a driver. I'm not doing that again. But there was an episode where she took them to the moon, and you remember the one kid, like the redheaded kid with glasses, like it was kind of like I can't remember his name, but his really annoying like cousin went with them, and she was like going crazy, wanting everyone to get proof that they were on the moon and everything. And he was just like, "Fine, you want proof? Here's your proof." And he takes off his damn helmet. And it's like his head freezes over into like a block of ice, and that's how they, he ends up just, of course, he just ends up getting a cold or something. It like flashes back to Earth, and they're like,
What the
they're
fuck,
fine.
man?
But I'm thinking, like, this teacher, like, Miss Frizzle, you didn't even see her the whole time it was happening. Like, what the hell? This kid just took his helmet off on the moon. His head could have like exploded.
I remember reading that in space, like, humans can actually survive almost a full minute without any protection from the elements in space. But that does seem really fucking dangerous, you know?
I mean, it's a vacuum, and it's a really good one.
Yeah. It's a really shitty vacuum.
And our skulls aren't exactly, airtight. If they were,
No,
we'd be
but I
dead.
think, if I remember right, I think humans can survive like a full minute of exposure to the dead vacuum of space before dying, right?
Oh, I'm sure there's a grace period. Yeah, it's probably
Yeah.
going to try to pull your eyeballs out of the sockets, and
Well, you had to close your eyes, probably. But
I don't think that would help. I don't think closing your eyes would help. I think that the
listen,
pull on the
denial is a
vacuum would be so
denial is a
strong.
powerful thing.
Oh, yeah, well.
Yeah, I remember that because Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, like one of my favorite books ever. The whole thing with Arthur Dent getting sucked out into space briefly when he gets kicked off the Vogan ship.
Wasn't there a Venture Brothers part where Brock got sucked out into space or something like that when they
Yeah.
were like on the space station?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that it was actually based off real science because I'm almost certain you can survive that. Also, I'm down to level 30 in the mine. There's nothing really of use down there yet, but 10 more levels and I'll be to the next zone.
Oh, okay.
I think
What-
one more day of spelunking and I can get down there.
I think in that episode, they thought that Brock was fighting a space, like an alien monster in the room.
Oh, he's actually fucking her.
And he's fucking her. But they're like, yeah, go Brock, go!
Pin her! Oh, he's got a camel clutch.
And wasn't she, like, supposedly, like, hideous, like, from the face up? But the other guy, like, loved her,
Leave
but he
the
wouldn't...
helmet on. Oh god, that guy was, like, my favorite voice from the series. Sharky's machine.
Ended up going up there to fix it, and the problem was caused by, I think, like a little plastic toy soldier that Rusty had left.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that episode so well, but I do.
It was a good episode. Oh, where's my axe?
Okay, I'm heading back.
Alright, I'm gonna chop down a few trees and keep this iron, or get these bronze bars going. Actually, well, we should probably hold on to it. We're gonna need more furnaces soon.
You know that one kid that, like, kind of the goth kid that sits in his bedroom all the time in that one house?
In which house? Oh, yeah, yeah.
The house with, like, the telescope and everything?
Triana Orpheus? What?
I just met him, and I just talked to him for a second because he was walking by, and he just goes, I don't really know you. That's all he said. That's all. He wouldn't say anything else. He's just like, I don't really know you. Like, okay. With that attitude, you won't.
Oh god, that fucking reminds me. I found... Okay, so, when you get convicted of a crime, at least in Nebraska, they do a thing called a pre-sentence investigation, where basically they try to do, like, a full interview with you and get, like, your full history and criminal stuff, background and stuff like that. And it's really useful if I get one of those, because that means I don't have to do it myself. But the people who write them are not always the same people, so you get a few of them that are written in very different fashions. And I saw my favorite fucking line recently from somebody on that. It was this guy that had like a shit ton of DUIs and a bunch of other problems. I mean, he'd really done a lot of stupid shit. So there's a section where they have what they call the victim impact statement, where basically if you're the victim of the crime, you get to write a thing about how heinous this asshole was, how much they deserve punishment, or whether you think you should be lenient on them and things like that.
Yeah.
So his victim impact statement, and to be frank, most people don't fill out the victim impact statement. It's rare to get one. So we get a victim impact statement from this case, and I'm pretty sure no one filled one out, but the guy who was filling the report out apparently didn't want to just leave it as blank. So the victim impact statement was just the 4 words, the victim is society. And for some fucking reason, that made me laugh. Just because I love this idea of a person like, who's the real victim here? All of us. All of us are the victim. Look what this guy did. Like, yeah, basically.
Come by the shop and check out the new rods I'm selling. They're the best money can buy.
I bet he wants to show you his rods.
And you can customize them with different kinds of tackle.
Come check this rod out, boy.
And his name is Willie. That's fitting.
Scarred on me.
It's all so fitting.
Yeah, Willie wants you to look at his rod, does he?
Yeah. Oh, right.
I bet Willie does. Willie's happy to show you his rod. Just come down to that little secluded shack of his. All the fish want it. Yes, sir. This whole rod, this'll get you all the fish. You'll get that bass right to your mouth. Willie's happy to go bass to mouth.
Am I crazy, or are these seeds not growing?
They're probably growing, but just very slowly.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably right.
Good idea, oh lord. Of course it's a good idea. Ooh, I'm down to the level with all the weird, like, creepy people. And I can't see shit. Oh hey, I found the way down.
It's crazy how much colder it is today than it was yesterday.
Oh yeah, it was fucking freezing here. First day I've actually gotten to wear my sexy coat.
Okay, we have $10,000 finally.
Nice. We should definitely think about investing in a coop or a barn. Just to make more money.
Where do you go to do that?
Up near the mine, there's a house where Robin works, and you talk to Robin in her place to build buildings. They almost all require money and materials, usually stone and wood. I think so if you bring like all the stone and all the wood we've got with you, you could probably go and buy one.
Okay.
I'll let you choose which one you want. And just place it somewhere on our property, that we can easily get access to.
I'll place it in the best spot.
Place it in a good spot. Oh, speak of which, I think I probably talked to you about this before. Do you know the show The Good Place?
I think you were talking about that last night.
Yeah. I had a friend just recently get finished watching all of it, and I am actually kind of envious as I really want to see the second season now that it's available on Netflix. That was probably one of the most interesting shows I've seen in terms of bizarre plots.
Well, I've still got to go through the rest of BoJack Horseman, and then I think it's Big Face, I think it's the show. It's like that other animated series. It's pretty funny. I think that came out with a new season too, and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of that one.
It's funny. I liked it. It was way more humorous than I was expecting.
Nice.
Okay.
I should probably give that a shot at some point. I also really want to go and find... I have to probably pirate it, but I'll have to go and get all the new seasons of Bob's Burgers. As that is like one of my favorite shows.
Okay. Where's this lady live? Oh, up here probably.
Yeah, it's the same map as the mine. She lives in the house with like the telescope out front.
Oh, okay, that's her house. All right.
Yeah, if you walk in during normal business hours, she'll be standing behind the desk, and as long as you talk to her over the desk, she'll talk to you about building stuff. And basically, the other thing to keep in mind is you can move a building for free at any time with her. So if in the future, it doesn't really matter if you put it in exactly the right spot. You can always put it somewhere else later.
I think a chicken coop is the only thing I'm going to have the option to build. So.
Oh, there should be like buttons in the lower corner that like lets you switch between buildings.
Not seeing any. I want to do chicken coop anyway, so that's fine.
Yeah, chicken coop is an excellent one to start out with. Of course, we'll also need to name all the chickens. And it takes like 3 days to build the chicken coop. God damn it, where's the way down?
If a woman's building it, it can't be that good.
No. No being sexist after I learned to like you.
It does remind me of that guy that you told me that you, like, instantly regretted inviting to talk to him, that, once you finally got your voice with him.
Oh, God, yeah. Ugh. I've had the same thing with, like, inmates recently. Like, I had one guy who was honestly, like, kind of an interesting guy to talk to otherwise, but he was just the most cringy incel motherfucker. And, I mean, the thing that pisses me off there is, like, I've had my awkward phase when I was younger. Like, I remember the period of feeling, oh, nobody likes me. And, I mean, honestly, I had a tough time at points, but I think, honestly, there's a part of me that has, like, not less sympathy exactly, but a lot less willingness to accept other people doing that when I'm like, no. It's, for fuck's sake, not all of the female COs are against you, and if they are, it's probably because you keep making rape jokes, you son of a bitch. Come on. Like, all the COs are bitches, man. Fucking bitches. I'm like, no, not really.
Do you actually say that?
Oh yeah, they've actually... This guy actually...
No, do you actually say that back to him?
Like, which bit? The whole, like, not
Like,
really.
do you just go, no, not really? Do you argue with him, or do you kind of just be like, eh?
I draw kind of a fine line. I have the reputation, and well deservedly, that I like to let people hang themselves with their own words. Like, I find it interesting to basically not agree with them, but not fight them on a lot of stuff either, because I want to basically sit there and make them feel comfortable enough that they'll tell me stuff they normally wouldn't feel comfortable telling. Both in a good way and kind of a trap sense.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even in a more legitimate, normal sense, I want them to feel at ease and that they can tell me things. But it also helps when, they believe, like, they can let slip something really stupid, like the guy who actually said, he didn't want to have to actually try or do any therapy because he just wanted to have an easy place to live. That's a really dumb thing to tell your therapist in this case. But it also is truthful, and it helps me, because it means I now understand better his motivation. So I'll often not directly fight people in what they say, just because I'm curious to see how much further they'll go with it. But I have absolutely told people bluntly in the face, like, no, you're fucking wrong. That's just not how this works. In fact, I actually got into a yelling match with one guy, which admittedly is a problem, since I really shouldn't have. It was me reacting way more than I should have to the whole situation. But it was a guy who I had spent, like, a lot of time working on his case and, like, trying to help him. And he started getting all pissy because I wasn't doing what he thought I should be doing, and he started blaming me for saying, like, you're not trying to help me. And, like, you dumb bitch. I am doing a ton to help you. I'm doing way more than anybody else here.
You
Like,
dumb bitch.
Well, seriously, he was sitting there literally telling me, like, why aren't you doing my evaluation? I'm like, because you don't have one ordered. He's like, I got the order right here. It says I need a psyche. I was like, okay, fucker, which test do you want me to do? I'm like, I don't know. I want the one that's amended. Like, okay, I've got 8 of them. Which? Then he gets all... The best part about that is he got all pissy at that point and walked to the back of his cell and refused to look at me as I'm standing there like, go ahead, tell me, which tests?
It's like dealing with a child sometimes.
I don't want to be, like, mean to them because, the guys have hard enough lives. I don't want to get in their case about it. But it really is. I mean, that was, like, the one thing I really kind of hated about dealing with teenagers. Because teenagers are usually pretty fun. But goddamn, they could be annoying, frustrating, and, like, really self-sabotaging idiots. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I had one teenager a while ago who actually tried to argue to me that it was totally legitimate that she'd thrown a fucking temper tantrum in McDonald's because her mom wouldn't get her a straw. Like, that was totally normal, right?
That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, especially since her mom literally offered to stop the car, go back into McDonald's, and get her a straw. But that wasn't good enough for her.
Huh. Crazy.
Yeah.
I never acted out like that, and if I had, my mom probably would have backhanded me.
Yeah, listen, I'm really not in favor of hitting kids, but there are certain exceptions where I'm probably just going to look at it like, you kind of earned that one.
Well, I was never... Okay, funny. I was never, like, actively, like, beaten or anything. That never happened. But
Yeah.
I did get whipped when I fucked up.
Now, when you say whipped, you're talking kind of like a
I'm talking
sexy
like my
BDSM
dad
kind of way,
pulling his belt out of his pants.
Okay. Your dad I'm sorry, I'm not going to make any bad jokes about this, but...
But the only time
Yeah,
my mom ever did anything like that was... Ooh, I want to talk to you. Come here. Goth kid. Come here. The only time my mom ever did anything was she said something to me. I was like 16. No, I was like 14 because I still had glasses.
Yeah.
And she said something to me.
Look at the glasses.
I ended up rolling my eyes at her.
Mm.
And immediately, my glasses were across the room because she smacked me in the face. That was the first and last time I ever rolled my eyes at my mom. Never happened again.
Reminds me of hearing a story about my dad when, because his parents were not the smartest people. They were, they were simple folk. But, he said apparently he got into a fight with his mom at one point, and because this was at a point when he was old enough that his mom actually had to tell him to sit down so I can hit you. Okay, we got iron cooking, so we should actually have the ability to make iron tools soon.
Okie dokie.
And I've also got a useless slingshot I want to get rid of.
Bedtime.